Hey everyone, we have a fun guest today on our Doctor to Doctor segment, Dr. Jodi Hentscher-Johnson. Jody received her bachelor's degree from Fontbonne University and her doctorate of dental medicine from Southern Illinois University School of Dental Medicine. She also earned a Master of Science in Oral Biology from University of Missouri, Kansas City, and her orthodontic certificate from the University of Missouri. She has 2 offices in Waterloo and Columbia, Illinois, and has been using virtual consultation very effectively for some time now. We're glad she could be here to talk with us about her experiences. Jody, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So you've been using virtual consultation for a little while. You're not a newbie to it, huh?
Well, I got introduced to it about a year ago. My web design people basically have been doing this virtual consultation. They started it about a year at the AAO.
Yeah.
And so they put it on my website, and it didn't get a lot of traffic until COVID crisis.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, but it was after COVID crisis. I basically just took that to my team and said, hey, listen, or my skeleton crew, and said, hey, listen, anyone that we have to reschedule, just ask them how they're doing. And if they want to have me check on something, send them the virtual checkup login information. But any of the new patients coming in, we offered them the virtual consultation. The way I did that, though, is a little bit different than how that whole system was set up. The virtual consultation, typically what happens is you can send a link to their phone. They take pictures of their mouth, and then basically they send it back to you, and then you can tell them, yes, you are a great candidate. There are some limitations. We would love to see you in the office at some point to just kind of make sure that everything is what we see in the photos. And then you can basically have them in. Right now, we wanted to have more of a personal touch.
Sure.
So we did send them basically, yes, we would love to talk to you about your teeth. And then what we did was we set up a Zoom call.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of like their appointment time on our schedule was associated with a Zoom call.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What's really cool and what my TC loved was that instead of it taking a full hour, it literally takes about 10, 15 minutes. And it's us basically just talking, getting to know them. Everything else is already done ahead of time.
Oh, so you're getting most of the information you would have normally gotten during the original process, and you're saving like 75% of the time? That's pretty amazing. Okay.
We just ask them, like when we send them, and what we did is we kind of married this with our, telling people their appointment is tomorrow.
Appointment reminders?
Yes, thank you. My brain is fried. I'm now a stay-at-home mom that teaches a 6 and an 8-year-old. So
yeah, you're now a homeschooling teacher.
Yeah,
that's a new role.
Fantastic.
It's amazing that you guys start doing this. I can't imagine.
It's interesting.
All right, so you said you integrated it into the text reminder and let them know.
Yeah, so we basically integrated the link into the text reminder and said, please fill this, or please complete your virtual consult 24 hours before your actual appointment.
So it's the Zoom link is the same for everyone, so you don't have to keep changing the text reminder, or do you do a new one for every person?
Well, it's not the Zoom link. It's the link to do the virtual consult.
Oh, okay.
So the link to do the virtual consult, then I got to figure out some better way to do this, or there might be some better system out there.
Yeah.
But basically I have to then go in, set up the Zoom, and
Mm-hmm.
then, connect with them on that.
Gotcha. Yeah. So they each have their own appointment.
Yeah. When we connect with Zoom, we basically have myself and my TC on. In Illinois, we can have the ladies actually work 50% of what their unemployment compensation is for a week. So
that's pretty awesome that you can do 50% of it.
Yeah, it is. It is pretty nice. It's kind of helped us out because I did furlough everyone. And I've been busier now than I ever have been before.
Oh, have you?
Well, just doing other, there's a lot of things I haven't done in a really long time that I'm having to take over and do. And
oh yeah.
Yeah. Being a stay-at-home mom now to do some homework. Luckily, my husband's been pretty awesome with that too. So he's been helping out quite a bit. But but yeah, as far as just, I wanted the practice to keep on going. I have the personality of, one of my strengths is I'm adaptable. So it's kind of like, okay, we have this, this new thing that no one's ever experienced. We can't get patients in the door. I just built a building. We literally just moved in January. You have.
So you just moved into a new building in January.
Yeah. Just moved in.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my goodness, this is like the worst timing ever. So just making sure that we can actually, pay those bills and everything. It was pretty scary at the beginning. And so, I kind of, at first I said, anyone that it was an adjustment or something like that, send them the link that if they want to send me their photos and I can check it. It almost was too much. Like I couldn't take it all on. It was,
wow.
basically doing all those adjustments on my own. It really makes you appreciate your help out there and your assistance and everything. So the first week was kind of crazy. It was hard to keep up. The second week, I just told the girls, I said, hey, listen, for the virtual checkups, which is not the virtual consultations, for the virtual checkups, just make sure you ask how they're, like, if you're calling them, and I was calling some patients too, ask them how they're doing, and if they, if they have any questions, if they're concerned with anything, if they are, send them the virtual checkup, and then they can, send it to me and I can check on them.
Oh, so you started by asking everyone to do it, and then you kind of gated it a little bit. That makes sense.
Yeah. And there's certain ones that I said for sure, like anyone that had active appliances that were turning the key, I said for sure send them. But just like an adjustment that could just basically, there's some patients out there that we haven't seen for 6 months. They literally disappear. They come back, and as long as they're brushing their teeth well, they look pretty darn good.
We've heard that story a couple times during these interviews. That's really surprising that happens. Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like we see patients too much.
We've heard that. But,
work.
One guest was saying that, you guys are perfectionists, so you might have this false idea that you just have to constantly be tinkering.
Yeah. Yep. Well, and that's what it was at the beginning. It was, I sat there and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't see my patients. I need to make sure that they're doing okay. So let's send the virtual checkups to every single person. I mean, we see upwards 80, 90 patients a day. And I was just, instead of...
that must have been totally overwhelming. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And not all of them did it, but it was just, there was one day I had about 40 and I'm doing all of this. So instead of me sitting down for maybe 30 seconds to even a minute, it's like taking me 3 to 5 minutes per one. And I'm just like, this is terrible. I'm not doing this to myself.
All right. So lesson learned. That's a good lesson for everyone.
Yeah. But the ones that are going to actually make the office money are the ones that are the virtual consultations. So those are the ones where, and it's funny when you send and you say, hey, let's take these bites. There's photos of how they're supposed to bite. They will sit there and they'll bite like this and this and this.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So even we've said it like 5 times on the instructions, make sure you're biting, swallow before you take the photo. Because when they swallow, they have to put their bite back.
Oh.
And nope. We still get ones like that. And I'm like, okay. So that's where the virtual consultation, I will actually just check and say, hey, I got to check and see if you were biting correctly. And so they get their face right up in the camera and they'll bite down for me. Sometimes I still can't see much. And then I'm like, you know what? You look great. We'll see you in 3 months in the office.
Yeah. You do the best
double check that you don't need anything right now.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So did you ever say that your office was closed on your website, or how did you handle that?
Yeah. So we basically sent out an email blast to all of our patients. We also used Facebook, Instagram that just said that we were closed. We're only open for emergencies only. Yeah. We just had to, and then we did a couple more email blasts.
So does your website say you're closed right now? It doesn't say you're open for virtual consultations? What is the message?
No, we did we actually sent that out too. We did we said we are closed, but we are open to virtual consultations. If you have any concerns, we gave them the link, and you are in treatment. We gave them the link to go ahead and, send in their photos. But even for virtual consultation, we put that out there just to try to, get some more business in. We had quite a few virtual consultations that did not, well, we had quite a few, like not virtual consultations, I'm sorry. We had quite a few consultations that we had to reschedule.
Yeah.
So a lot of them were pretty, they were pretty open to doing the virtual consultation, and they actually liked it. They, talking to them on the phone or talking to them face to face on Zoom, checking in on how they're doing. I think that actually helps out too, just as far as, letting them know that you're here for them, that you're face to face and not just typing and saying, yeah, you're ready for treatment. It's going to cost, $5,500 or whatever. You can make your payment to me when I meet you for the first time, when you come in to see me at the office.
Oh yeah, that would really work.
Yeah. So I like to have more of that personal touch. So that's why I was just like, I really feel like the Zoom, and the thing is we don't know what the conversion rate on these patients are going to be. So right now we have them scheduled. We have everything set up for them to come in. In the meantime, there might be a mom that got furloughed, that can't afford it now. I mean, I feel like this is going to affect our offices going forward, but anything I can do right now to just make it to where I can keep that machine running, I'm trying.
Yeah, it sounds like you're doing a good job. You're keeping it up and building those relationships face to face like this. I mean, that makes a huge difference.
I think it's a game changer for sure. I mean, and I've heard other people do virtual consultations where they're like, you don't even have to get on. You just text them the information. And I know that our society is going more towards let's just text instead of talk and stuff like that. But I don't know. I still like that maybe I'm old school. I like face-to-face communication.
I think everyone, whether they admit it or not, they really prefer that.
Yeah.
And especially if you're trying to help that conversion rate of people actually keeping their appointment.
Right.
I think seeing someone's face and body language and building your relationship that way, it's much harder to break that commitment than just over text. Cause it's, they're kind of just they're real, but they're only seeing them on your phone. It's kind of a different situation, I think.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Even when we have new sales meetings, I encourage people, can you get on Zoom? So we can actually see each other. Like I'm a real person.
Oh,
I'm
absolutely.
not just some random marketing guy trying to talk to you. It makes a big difference.
Well, I'm sure after this, we're going to see, some studies out there to see, what's the conversion rate versus, face-to-face, even a Zoom call versus, just texting them back on virtual saying, you're ready.
Yeah.
Setting your appointment up for this time to get your braces. So,
have you ever used bots to answer calls? You just don't believe in that. It's really person to person is the most important for you.
I like person to person. I don't know. I think it's really important. I feel like, even going to see my patients and sitting down and actually one of my biggest things for the girls is, don't sit there and I don't like it when you go into any type of office and then they're sitting there carrying on a conversation about themselves to, their neighbor.
Yeah.
It's really about that patient. And so I like, just getting even if you ask them, hey, what did you do today? Or, hey, what's your favorite color? I don't know. Just something personal that you can just get from them to really show them that you care. Those
soft skills. And I think our generation is one of the last that actually had them. As a norm, you have a lot of millennials that are on your team.
Right.
Do you feel like it's more difficult? Like they're not exactly there?
I think
some things that seem basic to you.
Well, when you first get someone in, I think that they might be a little bit nervous and they just, if I'm coming over, they're talking all of the clinical. But it's if you sit there and you're like, hey, you need to soften up a little bit and get to know the patient, tell me something So tell me something that you learned about them when I come over. Don't tell me they're in 1725 night tie, they're in on the upper, they're in, 1622 night tie on the lower, something like that. I'm like, tell me something like cool that just happened in their life. Then that's going to, give
Do you
me.
actually challenge them with that? So you kind of make them think next time I need to ask, because I don't have the answer to your question.
Yeah.
That's a great way to do it.
Yeah. I mean, that way it's like, then you're going to enjoy your job more because you're forming relationships.
Absolutely.
Instead of just, cookie cutter, like they're here for one thing. We're going to do this. We're going to get you out the door.
And it's making me think, if a couple of our guests were saying that have opened, they're letting people, people are sitting in the parking lot and then they're coming in when, there's their time to come to the office. And the team loves it because it's like super efficient, and they're getting, everyone's like, people are actually more on time, and, it's really, I'm like, so the team wants to keep it like that. And I'm thinking to myself, but you're totally going to miss the whole relationship building part. And I know it's like not efficient, but I think that's important.
Oh,
part
absolutely.
of the whole experience,
Yeah. I mean, I think we're still going to, these times right now, I mean, no one's ever gone through this. And I think it's just, telling them that we're there for them. I don't feel like we're going to lose that personal touch. Now, granted, the mom or the dad's going to be in the car, but you get that patient in there and, how have you been during this time? It's been, it's been kind of crazy nuts, but have you been okay? Are you getting your homework done? Are you glad you're not in school? I mean, some of the patients that I've had, some of the coolest conversations on some of the emergency patients that I've had to go in and talk to.
Yeah.
Because this is uncharted territory. We've never gone through this. It's like, what have you been doing during this time? So
you've almost gotten to know some people better.
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Everyone wants that from their doctor too. Like when I just go to, primary care doctor, they have no time. It'd be cool to sit down and talk. I know they can't do it, but
my primary is awesome, but he's a family friend. So he's actually sat in there with me for about 30 minutes to an hour before. And I'm like, don't you have other patients?
Yeah. I need one of these people. That would be amazing. I feel like I have to go to like a holistic health practitioner to get that. They'll talk to you forever. Anyway.
But it makes a difference. It really does.
Oh, it totally does.
It's definitely made me.
Because I definitely look at them as a commodity. Like I'd switch primary care physicians, and like if it was cheaper, I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
Because I don't have any deep relationship with the one I have now.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
So when you're doing the virtual consults, do you do like have a backdrop or anything? What is just the process, or just wherever?
No, I could do a backdrop on this to where I was at the beach, but no. No, it's literally in my living room. And sometimes my kids are, walking behind. I do have a really good story. One of my kiddos was getting up and he was just in his, little boxer briefs. My 6-year-old
really?
Comes walking around and I'm like, oh, like, wait a minute. Oh,
yeah, I think it's different. Everyone just accepts it.
That one.
Yeah, right. Like,
You know what though? It's making me more relatable to them. Just being like, oh, you're going through I'm going through this. It sucks.
Yeah,
like,
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I really think, it takes, maybe if you're on a pedestal in their mind, it takes you off a little bit, makes you more relatable.
Yeah.
People get intimidated, I think, pretty easy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't feel like I have that intimidation personality type, but at the same time, it's just like, yeah, I'm at home. If I get an emergency call, luckily my husband's working from home right now. It's like, all right, you have the kids, I have to run in. It's almost kind of a little escape. I'm not a bad mom, but it's almost, it's like a little escape going, oh my gosh, I have an emergency. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I know what you mean. There was, we were doing a little bit of like essential shopping yesterday, and we're like, why don't we just drive around a little bit? I can afford the gas. We've been at the house a long time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, it's like right now I'm actually at the Lake of the Ozarks with my family. We finally ended up hanging out with, so my sister and brother-in-law and their family have all been quarantined. We've been quarantined, and then my parents were getting very upset with us because we weren't allowing them to come around us.
Yeah.
and they didn't care about us, but they wanted to see their grandkids. So, so we are all down at the Ozarks right now, coming back tonight. But yeah, that's why you have this old paneling behind me right now.
Yeah, it's cool. It's like authentic.
Awesome. Yeah.
It's like real stuff. So what do you think your office is gonna look like after all this is done? Like, what are you planning on doing when you start back up and can see people? What is gonna change?
So, I mean, we're still waiting. Illinois has yet to release their guidelines. We're still waiting on the guidelines. What we're planning on doing is basically making a video of what it's going to be like to come back into the office.
That's
As
smart.
far as, yeah. So as far as I don't know if I'm letting everybody come back. We have to look at the schedule, because right now, if it doesn't make sense to have everybody come back, I'm not going to have everyone come back. And I don't know how many people they're going to allow in an actual building at a time. So we're going to do a video of basically, what's expected. Stay in your car. We do have Weave, so they could text us as soon as they get in. I know Weave has some type of platform where they can also answer all of the COVID questions.
Oh, really? Someone mentioned it, but I'm not familiar. It's a texting platform?
I'm looking into it this week, so I'm not for sure on how that would work. But I'm trying to look into that, because right now it's just kind of me calling them right before they come in, saying all of the questions to the parent, answering it for them, having the child, signature, and then after they're done, they take it out to their parents and have them sign.
Oh yeah, we were talking to CEO of Rhinogram, and he does everything through text, because that's the main benefit of Rhinogram. And it's nice because he can send a templated text, so you're not retyping it over and over again.
Oh, see, that would be great.
See if Weave can do that, because because it's the same message more or less.
Right.
Plus, you want to make sure you don't miss something.
Oh my gosh, for sure. Yeah. So yeah, we're trying to work on that, where it's just going to be more, text all of the questions. We take their temperature when they come in.
Yeah.
I did just hear that we have to follow up with them 2 days after their appointment. So that's going to be pretty interesting on how we're going to do that. I guess we could just do a blast to those patients that were seen that day, that says, do you still not have any COVID symptoms? But
yeah, that would be helpful. Automate that as much as physically possible, because that's a ton of extra work.
Yeah.
It kind of makes sense though.
Yeah.
Are you doing taking the temperature of the staff too when they come in?
Yes. So they have to fill out the questionnaire, and then we'll take their temperature, and then as long as it's below 100.4, I think is what I saw. I don't know. I checked out this entire weekend. I had to get away.
Oh no, you'll get it all. It'll be all listed. It'll be easy.
I have the girls in there today because I am planning on opening on May 4th. So that's going to be in a week from now. Yeah. Again, it's just going to be a lot of trying to figure out how we're supposed to do this. So I'll see.
So you're not offering prices through the virtual consultations right now, right?
We are when we Zoom.
Through the Zoom.
Mm-hmm. So it's just like they're in the office. It's just like they're sitting right across the desk from us. And I have my TC on there. We use, it was OrthoCalc, now it's Simple Consult.
Yeah.
To where basically she shares her screen. She shows them basically the price breakdown, what insurance is going to cover. And then she emails that over to them so that they can sit there and use a slider if they want. And then she's basically following up with them, but we do get them on the books.
That's smart. That's huge. Yeah. Simple Consult's good for that. That slider is really neat.
Yeah. So they
can confirm it there, so you know what they agreed to, right?
Yeah. Except if you are on unemployment, you cannot accept any money right now. So basically you can't sit there and say, we'll take your down payment now. So you have to basically just wait till they come in.
That makes sense. Are they going to be able to start treatment immediately, or you have to have an in-office consultation before you start treatment?
They can essentially, if I get as much information, now again, there's limitations. So if there's a child that is biting all weird and I can't even get them to bite normal, I'm having them come back in about 3 months to basically do an in-office consultation.
Yeah.
If I have most of the information that I see, I basically have them come in. It's a little bit longer on just getting records first, and then they can get started. But it's just for me to sit down, verify everything I saw on my initial, virtual consultation. As long as everything there looks correct, then we're going to just proceed and then continue. So if they need braces, if it's Invisalign, they're just getting a scan. If it's braces, then basically we have a bonding set up for them that day.
Yeah. So you think there'll be a lot more virtual consults now that people are used to it? Because you said that people weren't using it very much before, weren't they?
Yeah, I think it's going to definitely shift the way that we do business. I mean, I think there's definitely going to be room in our schedule to just basically do virtual consults where, and I have to try to figure that out as far as, is it something that we're doing right now where it's like, all right, we're going to set up this Zoom call with you at this time. I know you had talked about some other system out there that actually has the video capability.
Oh yeah. Smile Snap. Yeah.
Yeah. Which that is
started offering that.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's killer. Cause right now I just text them back and basically we'll email you with the Zoom meeting.
And you don't have to worry about the HIPAA compliance right now, but eventually you will.
I know.
To figure out something that'll be all right.
Yep. Yeah.
So when you're giving these people these quotes virtually, what is their reaction? Is it different than in person? What have you noticed happening?
And I'm typically still there. Like I can't just sit there and be like, hey, they're going to talk money. Peace.
Yeah. Yeah. You're all just there. So you get to see like what their body language and reaction and everything, huh?
No, I basically just sit there and it's kind of one of those things that, it hasn't, like there's been one mom that was like, well, I just got furloughed, so we'll see, type of deal. And I said, no worries. Like it's not, we can still monitor. We're not in any hurry. Everybody else is just kind of like, oh, okay, that's great. Send it over to me. We'll figure out what we want to put down. So. Oh,
really?
Yeah.
And even if they do tell you, at least they're telling you a reason if they got furloughed or whatever.
Right.
But then you can follow up, assuming it's going to some sort of system to manage these leads and say, hey, are you still furloughed? What's going on?
Yeah, absolutely.
Not that way,
but. Yeah.
So are you planning on doing follow-up monitoring virtually after this with the system you have?
I think it would be a good thing. At this point, I haven't, come up with any protocol. Just because I've really been more or less, hey, let's make sure we're getting virtual consults in. So we have,
You're focusing on the right thing. You're focusing on the top of the funnel. Speaking of our marketing brain.
Get
the people on the top of the funnel so that you get the payoff later.
Yeah. But we're still going to have them follow up, like as far as, follow up with those patients, even the recalls, anything like that. We still are going to have them follow that protocol. But yeah, honestly, like, I've even thought about while we're seeing patients and maybe if we are limited to only seeing maybe 4 patients instead of seeing 8 patients across.
Yeah.
Maybe we do like the every other, having that assistant get a virtual up there and to where I'm still seeing all those patients, but it's just, hey, I'm checking on you. Everything looks good, and doing the checkups. That's one thing where you can just text back. If you have any questions, text. We have the capability where you can just text our office line.
Yeah.
And text.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
So, that way it's just kind of just staying there, being available. I think that's going to be pretty killer. And it's going to just show our patients that, we're there for them. We're trying to, do what's necessary right now in order to see them. And the way that, Smile Direct, you don't have to go and see it's inconvenient to come and see me. I get it, even though I feel like I'm awesome.
Why wouldn't they want to, right?
Right.
Yeah.
No, I just feel like there's just so many things going on. And, like having the capability of doing virtual treatment. It is really nice. We also do dental monitoring. I've only done it with Invisalign patients. It's been really nice to just kind of follow those and track those on that system. I did need to get help from the girls because there was no way I was able to see everybody.
Yeah, but you do have that system now. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. So that was, and I know that they started doing their virtual.
I know there's going to be so much overlap between different systems now because they know they have to do the virtual. So we're going to, I think there's going to be some consolidation or mergers or something because there's too much overlap.
Right. I was like, nope, I'm set in my way right now. I don't want to learn a new system.
Yeah, right.
It's kind of my whole Invisalign deal too. I'm like, it's set in my ways, don't want to learn a new system, but now I have ULab I work with, and I'm like, gosh, I need to get really, really awesome at ULab so I don't have to do Invisalign.
What does ULab do? What is their?
ULab I can do in-house. So I have 2 3D printers.
Gotcha.
So actually, Vannon from Engaged Ortho, her and Vicky are the ones that introduced me to ULab. It's just basically the virtual setup. I can do minor tooth movement, anything like that. Yeah.
All right, so that's great that you can print your own aligners with ULab. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah. Well, the thing is it's great. As soon as I can actually print the aligners, then it's go time. That's where I would just completely cut out the middleman.
Yeah, exactly. We spoke to KLO, and have you heard of them? They do custom braces.
KLO?
KLON? Yeah. They're interesting because he's trying to get appointments down to 8 appointments.
Oh, wow.
Patient. That's his goal. So a lot of what we're talking about is sort of related. But he's going to be leveraging virtual consults to do that as well.
Are those the 3D printed brackets?
No, that's
Lighthouse is the
Lighthouse. Yeah. We interviewed them last week. That's very interesting. They both kind of talk to each other a lot. Light Force. Right.
Oh, that's right. Light Force. So actually, I ended up actually buying 10 of those cases right before we got furloughed. So I actually had one case that I already did kind of get all set up. So luckily she's an adult and her teeth shouldn't be shifting too much. So I can still.
Oh, they should be fine. Yeah. I mean, it's so custom.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's just so many ways to gain efficiency that there wasn't now.
Oh yeah.
You guys are basically going digital in all different ways, which is amazing.
Well, and like the thing is we kind of saw this coming anyway when you had Smile Direct Club and everybody coming out, and it's kind of, people are like, I don't want to go see the orthodontist. I'm too busy. I'm at school. I'm doing this. Where the best option would be to have a doctor oversee their treatment. So it's kind of like, if you don't change with the times, you're going to be left behind. So
absolutely. I mean, that's what Rhinogram was saying, these direct-to-consumer companies are trying to say it's inconvenient. They're painting a picture of you guys, and you can either accept it or you can fight it. I mean, it's either true or you're innovating and it's not true anymore, and check us out.
Well, and it was kind of like even the virtual consults. I had a ton of patients saying, this is great that you can actually still do this, and we can get all ready to go and get set up, and we don't have to, keep on waiting. So they see the value of it immediately.
Like, to them, it really is a differentiator. That's great.
Yeah.
That's good feedback.
And I haven't really, I've had typically sometimes I'll do it after a workout, so I look absolutely awful.
Oh yeah? Do they even care? I mean, what is it? They're like, they don't care.
I'm like, I'm sorry, I just worked out. I've been homeschooling my kids.
Oh yeah, right now.
I needed a break.
For sure. So have the starts been similar or much lower, higher? What are the difference?
We've scheduled everyone that needs scheduled. We've scheduled everyone. I don't know when I'm going to actually be able to start them. Again, still waiting on guidelines.
So would you say schedules are about the same per month?
Yeah.
That's amazing. So really, if those conversion ratios can stay to what they are normally, you'll be in good shape.
Yeah. Am I expecting that? Probably, I'm hopeful for that, but am I expecting that? Just with, even big companies that just came out this last week that have furloughed quite a few people out there, I'm not going to be surprised if there's going to be a lull in the summer months, which is all of our biggest production months, which, is really scary. But it's out of our control. Right now it's a lot of times I just sit there and, you got to give it to God and just, kind of go with it. You can't control it. So you just got to go with it.
Yeah. If you're a control freak like me, that's a little hard, but I think the messages sound, for sure.
Well, I was the first 2 weeks. And then it was after that, I was just like, I'm killing myself. I literally, I can't keep up. I can't do, everyone else, a lot of other people's jobs, and see all these patients. And like I didn't even see my kids those first 2 weeks. Like my husband was the one that had the kids.
Yeah.
Um,
Something had to give.
yeah.
Change.
Yeah. So having, getting the girls, like as far as, getting them on board with doing, virtual stuff, getting them trained. I think that's going to be, an awesome option, because if we do have it to where we can only see a couple of patients, half the patients that we used to be. So say, we see 80 in a day. Now we can see 40.
Yeah.
I mean, what's going to happen? Like, we might have to open up to where you're, doing 12 hours a day. You might have to do Fridays. You might have to do Saturdays. We do have, we have a great we have a great team, a really awesome team that they're all ready to come back to work. They're bored. We do Zoom meetings, every week, and just to kind of check in on them. I give them the update on what's going on. But yeah, I mean, it's just been, I think we just all have to be more open to doing some virtual to make it to where we're still monitoring these patients how we're supposed to. Otherwise, unless you want to work, 24/7, you're not going to be able to see them all.
Yeah, that makes sense. Getting whatever percentage you can get to become virtual is going to make a huge difference.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
It's really smart. Okay.
But us control freaks that want to make sure they're doing okay.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. It's really hard. You want to like put your hands through the computer and you're like, tug on that lower holding arch. Is it okay?
Maybe they'll have that one day, like the robotic surgery.
Yeah.
I feel like anyway.
We wouldn't have to see any patients. We'd just be like, all right, so my robot's going to sit there and do your adjustment right now.
That's scary.
Yeah, that is kind of scary.
So how do you think you've kept these scheduled appointments about the same? Do you get most of your new leads from the internet, through the website?
For new patients?
Yeah.
So those were the ones that I've seen so the ones before COVID crisis.
Yeah.
Those were all like Facebook ads. Can't do a link on Instagram, so we never put that on Instagram. It was on our website. So as soon as you get on our website, you can put your number in to get kind of a virtual consultation. Yeah. And again, it wasn't busy. Like it wasn't really that busy. Now that I don't think a lot of people really knew what that meant. So virtual consultation, I don't know. Or they were just like, this is too much work. I have to sit there and take pictures of my teeth. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't getting as much traffic as, we thought it would. And we're like, at least it's an option out there. Well, this happened. And all of these new patients are actually patients that were already on our schedule. So so these are patients that were on our schedule. We called them and we said, hey, we can't see you. Would you like to do a virtual consultation? And a lot of them said, yeah, we'd love to. So these are patients that were already on our schedule. Because it is working so well, we are kind of pushing it out there to say, hey, if you want a virtual consultation, click on this, easy photos, make sure you're biting correctly. And then we go from there.
So have you changed any of your marketing during COVID, or you just kept pushing forward?
We have just kind of going out there and trying to push the virtual consultations. We've tried to
change the campaign to virtual consultations, but keep the same spend and everything.
Yeah, which reminds me, I haven't probably done that in the last week, so I probably need to. I don't like to push. I'm not very pushy on, hey, try to see if you want braces or whatever. So it's kind of like for me, I'm not going to do that every single day.
That makes sense.
Maybe once a week that says we offer virtual consultations. Yeah.
All right. So your marketing is just kept pushing forward. It's just the message is virtual consultations now. That's
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. So hopefully you're opening next week. That's exciting. Possibly.
I don't know. Our governor doesn't know what he told us to do. He told us that he never closed us down, but on the mandate, his name is on it. So
yeah, Whatever, dude. That's funny.
I don't even think he knows what's going on right now. So I'm planning on opening on the 4th. And basically, like right now, just doing like the no aerosol producing procedures. Luckily for us orthodontists, like there's a lot of things we can do to where we don't have to use the handpiece. We can get those old fashioned scrapers out and use those. I mean, there's some patients that actually prefer those. So, my patients, I know that there's been some patients not be, super like forgiving during this situation. I gotta say, my patients have been fantastic. Like they understand. They're not sitting there, yelling at me because I can't see them.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I have a couple colleagues that have had some pretty interesting stories, but yeah, I have some pretty awesome patients, and I mean, we can only do what we can do. I mean, it is what it is. So
I know. I mean, Google shut off the ability for people to leave reviews because people are getting ridiculous, and it wasn't fair. I mean,
yeah.
So I think everyone's seeing that. It sounds like your team's kind of been great too.
Yeah, they've been.
So
awesome.
You really have an engaged team that all knows their role and kind of love working with you. Huh?
Yeah, they've been great. It's kind of, I miss them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's fun that we do the Zoom meeting calls and just kind of catch up. I think we're going to try to make it a little bit more, what's the word? Again, remember, I've been around an 8 and a 6-year-old, but basically make it to where we can do more of like a book club, make it more productive.
I've heard of people doing like little virtual cocktail parties and stuff.
Yeah. Just to kind of get them back into, all right, this is how we treat our patients. We have that Disney World atmosphere. Let's do a book club to kind of get us all excited to come back to work. And yeah. So even like when we don't, if I don't bring everyone back, which it doesn't look like, the schedule's very light. So, there's going to be a handful, and there's some of my girls that have little kids at home that can't even come back. So
that's interesting. So they really couldn't come back even if you wanted them to.
Right. So they don't have any childcare at this point because, we don't want to, have kids go and be at a daycare if they can't go to school.
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
Something to do.
I'm just really worried this is going to get bad again, and then we're all going to have to shut down again. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we just need to get back to normal. So I'm just praying that everyone uses their common sense. And
well, you can see South Carolina is about to let everyone in, so maybe we'll see how it goes here, and then I was going to go there.
It's going to be a hot spot.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've always been known to do our things our own way here, I think.
Yeah.
Good or bad. So do you have any good advice for other doctors right now? What do you think in general they should be doing to kind of make sure their 2020 is at least reasonably close to what they wanted their gross revenue and new starts to be?
I mean, I think doing virtual consultations are huge. I think if they definitely want to keep production going, they have to do virtual consultations. I think doing it where you schedule a Zoom call, if your virtual consultation software doesn't allow you to have the video, like what was that company?
SmileSnap. Yeah.
SmileSnap. I mean, maybe even look into that. If they have video consultations where you can automatically go to video, that's huge. But getting in front of the patient, I think to actually talk to them and use video, I think that's going to be, that's going to make your closing rate better. And then just showing them things, you can share your screen on Zoom. You can share your screen on the Google Meets.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Just basically that way it's kind of walking them through and just showing them that you're there for them. I think that's going to, give them trust in you, and then hopefully you close the case. Again, I don't know if we're going to close all these cases because there's still just every day changes. But if I have 10 starts ready to go, and
it's much better position than if you're doing nothing. And,
if we're closing 50%, I still have 5 starts on there that's going to start. So
awesome. Yeah.
Instead of just sitting around not doing anything, like sometimes it would be nice not to do anything. but,
Of course, we all need vacations. I think a lot of people are feeling that. But you get antsy eventually. You're like, oh, I need to get back to my normal routine.
Yeah. I mean, and it's right. It is kind of one of those things that sometimes, like I felt like I just needed to get away just because I have been working a lot more than I'm used to. And, just kind of stepping away. And I looked at my husband last week and I said, hey, I can still do some virtual consultations down at the lake. I just need to get away from this house because, again, it was 4 people trapped in a house for the last 6 weeks. And yeah, like just going out and, going on a trail or going on a ride or going to the lake or wherever you got to go just to get out of the house.
I know you're in a great spot, just appreciating nature and connecting to it again instead of I can't imagine people I live like in a little homestead almost. So we have a few acres and I go outside a lot as much as I can, especially more now than I have when I was working because I can just walk outside. But
yeah,
you appreciate it a lot more now.
Oh, absolutely. But you also have to make sure you have a business when you go back. So
right? Yeah, absolutely.
Do virtual consultations.
Are you doing anything specifically to get your staff ready when you open? Are you doing any training, writing policies?
Yeah, so I've been waiting on, like this weekend was basically kind of, last week on Friday and Saturday, it looked like we weren't going to be able to go back. Now it looks like we are. So this week, either Thursday or Friday, I'm going to bring the team back that's going to be in the office. We're going to basically do those videos to show, like to post to patients, hey, this is how we're doing things now.
Oh, you're recording the videos with the team then? Oh,
yeah.
That makes sense. Plus they're teaching it, so it'll make them go in their brain a little bit better, right?
Right. Yep. And basically just have kind of like a day of training, like a COVID crisis training on how we're going to be doing things from now on. There's a whole checklist. There's a lot of checklists out there on what to do the week before. So I have one of the girls in the office right now actually going through that checklist.
That's smart.
Yeah, doing the spore test on the autoclave, doing the water test, like any of that kind of stuff. I'm like, all right, we're doing this. It's next Monday. We're getting ready. So she's getting in there, getting everything done.
Oh, that's perfect.
So
yeah, you get to spend time with them too, which will be nice.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
What about the PPE? Do you have enough of it? Is that going to be an issue?
I'm on Mary's list. So I've been using they have some PPE available. I work with Patterson. My Patterson rep has been pretty awesome.
Yeah.
We actually, before this whole thing started, it was that first Monday, I had the girls go out over the weekend and get basically these lab jackets that like are impermeable to anything. So all the girls already had that. I'm waiting on face shields. I'm praying that those come this week. Masks. I actually had a local little lady make some for us.
Yeah.
So we do have, if we run out, we have a machine washable one. I'm also kind of a dork and into 3D printing. And one of my good friends, Mark Causey, actually made a template for a 3D printed mask. So I'm the dork that I have two 3D machines at my office, but the girls basically knew how to do those and I didn't. So over the time I was off, I basically started learning about 3D machines. I bought a little guy that was like $400 from, what is it? It's Anycube Photon S. And I've had I still have I have one good printed mask. It has a little defect on the bottom, but we made it work. But I want to try to actually print out some masks. So
that's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
So you have a backup for your backup.
See, we're gonna be fantastic. We're gonna be good.
Good advice. I like. It's not dorky to do 3D printing. That's awesome.
Hey, I mean, if we have to, we'll get those like 2-liter jugs of soda and split it down the middle and put it around our face. Like you've seen some of those guys
But
going.
I have not seen this. I'm going to look it up now.
Have you not seen that? It's like a big old 2-liter of like 7-Up or whatever. They take the label off, they cut the back, and then they put it around their head so that they have a shield.
Okay.
I mean, we could do that, right?
That's true. It's certainly better than nothing. Do you think you'll put walls between the chairs? Have you thought about that, like a clear?
So I am lucky that, in a sense, besides the bills, that I just built my new office. So my new office, I have one completely private room, and then I have 2 semi-private rooms. So I have walls already between those.
Oh.
So I have basically 3 chairs for sure that has that capability. I'm one of the ones that I'm not going to go out and spend a ton of money on dividers just yet. Just because I have three of them that I'm able to do that.
Yeah, and if you're working at half capacity anyway, you can manage it that way, right?
Right. So yeah, I'm going to kind of see what happens when we all come back. And if I do have to get dividers, then I have to get dividers. It's kind of a bummer because I just spent a ton of money on this office. That's what I'm worried about. I'm wondering how much money we're going to have to spend on our office to get it.
Yeah, if the regulations start getting super strict and you have to
Yeah.
immediately,
Yeah.
Sure. We'll see how that goes.
If I have to redo my entire clinic area, that's when I'm going to start crying.
Thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate it. It sounds like you've got a lot of stuff going on at once. You're doing a great job.
Thanks.
Getting ready for everything. Keeping it going.
I'm trying.
Yeah. And have fun at your time over at the Ozarks. Sounds awesome.
Thank you. Thanks.
Cool. All right. Well, take it easy.
All right. Bye.
Bye.